13 going on 30 begins with one of the simplest wishes in the world and one of the saddest. A 13-year-old girl stands at the worst party of her life, humiliated, lonely, and convinced that if she could just skip the awkward parts of growing up, everything would finally make sense. She does not wish for wisdom or patience or love. She wishes to be 30, flirty, and thriving. Then somehow she gets exactly that. What follows is funny and bright on the surface, but underneath all the fantasy, it is really a story about how easy it is to chase the wrong version of adulthood, and how hard it is to find your way back to the person you were supposed to become. The story begins in 1987 in suburban New Jersey. Jenna Rink is about to turn 13, and in her mind that birthday is supposed to change everything. She is tired of being awkward, tired of being ignored, and tired of feeling like the wrong kind of girl. What she wants more than anything is to be accepted by the most popular group at school, a clique called the Six Chicks. Their leader is Lucy Wyman, and to Jenna, Lucy seems to have everything. Confidence, style, social power, and the easy kind of beauty that makes the rest of the school fall into line. Jenna does not really have that life. She has braces, big feelings, and a best friend named Matt Flamhaff who has loved her quietly for years. Matt lives next door and understands Jenna in a way no one else does. He is sweet, dependable, and creative. For her birthday, he builds her a beautiful dollhouse by hand, complete with a little packet of wishing dust tucked inside. It is the kind of gift only someone who truly knows you would make. But Jenna is too focused on becoming someone else to see what Matt already means. She throws a birthday party and desperately hopes the Six Chicks will come, because in her mind this is her one chance to become popular. At first it seems like it might work. The cool kids do show up. They act friendly. Jenna feels herself rising toward the version of life she has been craving. But it is a trap. Tom and the others trick her into going into a closet for what she thinks will be a romantic moment with a cute boy. Instead, they leave her there, laugh at her, and turn the whole party into a humiliation. By the time Jenna gets out, the damage is done. The kids are gone. The dream is ruined. Matt is hurt too because before the party fell apart, Jenna pushed him aside in front of everyone to seem cooler. She has traded kindness for acceptance and still ended up alone. Devastated, Jenna retreats to the dollhouse Matt made for her. She sprinkles the glittering dust over herself and makes her wish. She wants to be 30, flirty, and thriving, then she falls asleep crying. The next morning she wakes up in an apartment she does not recognize, in a body she does not understand, in a life that is suddenly 17 years ahead of where she should be. Jenna is now 30 years old, living in Manhattan, and apparently exactly what she once thought she wanted to be. She has a glamorous apartment, expensive clothes, a high-powered job, and the polished surface of a woman who seems to have figured everything out. The problem is that inside she is still 13. This part of the movie is a lot of fun because Jenna reacts to adulthood exactly the way a 13-year-old would. She's confused by elevators, office politics, designer shoes, and the strange way adults pretend they know what they are doing. She cannot understand why everyone around her expects her to act like nothing is unusual. She has an assistant, a demanding boss, and a wardrobe full of clothes that look exciting and terrifying at the same time. She soon learns that she works at a fashion magazine called Poise. The job sounds glamorous, but the reality is stressful. The magazine is struggling against a younger rival called Sparkle, and Jenna is apparently one of the key people responsible for helping Poise stay ahead. She also discovers that Lucy is now her co-worker and closest adult friend, which at first seems like proof that becoming popular really did work out. But the more Jenna looks at her adult life, the stranger it feels. She has a handsome hockey player boyfriend, but no real connection with him. Her apartment is beautiful but empty. Her social life is stylish but shallow. Worst of all, she slowly begins to understand that the adult Jenna she has become is not especially kind. She has grown into exactly the sort of woman who knows how to win rooms and get attention, but not how to stay honest. The biggest shock comes when she tries to find Matt. In her heart, he is still the boy next door, the one person who always made her feel safe. She assumes he will still be there waiting for her, more or less unchanged. Instead, she learns that adult life kept moving without her. She and Matt drifted apart years ago. He is now a successful photographer living downtown, and he is engaged to another woman named Wendy. This is the first time the fantasy really starts to crack. Jenna reconnects with Matt, and their reunion is both warm and painful. Matt can tell immediately that something about her seems different. This older Jenna looks familiar but behaves like someone with a softer heart and fewer defenses. When they spend time together, she begins discovering pieces of the lost years she skipped. She learns that after her 13th birthday, she chose popularity over friendship and slowly turned into someone Matt could no longer reach. That truth hurts because now that she is inside this adult version of herself, she can see what she traded away. At the same time, Jenna is struggling at work. Poise needs a major fresh idea, and the Jenna from 1987 still inside her starts approaching the problem with a kind of sincerity that the adult world forgot how to use. Instead of cynicism and trend chasing, she brings energy, instinct, and actual joy. At one work event, she turns a stiff corporate party into something fun and unforgettable just by playing music people can actually enjoy and refusing to act like coolness matters more than feeling. For the first time, adulthood starts responding to the best parts of her, not the fake parts. As Jenna keeps spending time with Matt, their old connection comes back to life. He shows her the comfortable honesty she has been missing. Around him, she laughs more easily. She starts remembering who she was before she became obsessed with status. They revisit the neighborhood, talk about the past, and slowly rebuild the emotional closeness that once came so naturally. But every sweet moment comes with the same problem hanging over it. Matt is engaged, and the woman he loves now is not supposed to be Jenna. That tension becomes even stronger when Jenna begins to realize she is in love with him. This is one of the movie's most effective turns, because it reveals the difference between childhood fantasy and grown-up love. At 13, Jenna wanted to be admired. At 30, after seeing the life admiration got her, she finally understands the value of the person who loved her when she had nothing impressive to offer. Meanwhile, the professional side of her life is becoming more dangerous. Jenna is trying to help Poise relaunch with a new vision, one built on authenticity and warmth instead of backstabbing. She brings Matt in to help photograph the new concept, believing that working with someone she trusts will make the whole thing more honest. But Lucy, who has remained ambitious and manipulative all along, is playing her own game. Jenna slowly uncovers the truth that adult Lucy has been using her, betraying her, and leaking ideas behind the scenes. This revelation is important because it forces Jenna to see that the glamorous adult identity she once wanted was built on compromise after compromise. She did not just become popular, she became someone willing to step over people, and Lucy helped shape that version of her. The emotional and professional betrayals collide when Jenna learns that the magazine project has been sabotaged. The trust she put in her adult world collapses all at once. Lucy was never truly her friend, the life she built is not solid, and the one person she really wants, Matt, is still moving toward marriage with someone else. Then comes the moment that breaks her heart open completely. Jenna goes to Matt's rehearsal dinner and sees up close what her lost years have cost her. Matt is kind to her, but the tenderness between them now has nowhere safe to go. He has built a life without her because the younger Jenna chose a different road. Standing there in the middle of a future she should have been part of, Jenna finally understands the price of every choice she made after that 13th birthday. She leaves devastated and returns to her childhood home, carrying the dollhouse Matt once made for her. In that moment, the movie stops being a comedy about a girl in an adult body and becomes something much more emotional. Jenna realizes that what she wanted at 13 was never what she actually needed. She did not need to skip the hard parts, she needed to live them differently. So she makes one more wish. She wishes she could go back. The next morning, Jenna wakes up once again in 1987, back in her 13-year-old room on the day after the party disaster. This time, she has all the memory and pain of the life she just lived. She knows what becoming popular at any cost will do. She knows what happens if she turns her back on Matt. She knows how empty the glamorous version of adulthood can become. And most importantly, she knows what matters. From this point on, Jenna makes different choices. She stops chasing the six chicks. She stops pretending cruelty is sophistication. She reaches for Matt instead of pushing him away. She tells him the truth in the only way she can, not by explaining the impossible, but by making him feel that she finally sees him. The movie then jumps ahead once more, but this time to a new future. Jenna and Matt are adults again, only now their lives have grown out of the better choices they made together. They are getting married in the backyard beside the same dollhouse that once carried her first wish. Their lives are still warm, playful, and imperfect, but they are rooted in love instead of image. That ending matters because it does not simply say adulthood is bad and childhood is pure. It says that the person you become is shaped by what you choose to value. Jenna once thought being 30 meant having the right clothes, the right apartment, and the right social power. In the end, she learns that being grown up is really about knowing who deserves your loyalty, what kind of person you want to be, and what kind of love is worth building a life around. 13 going on 30 stays so charming because it understands something very simple and very true. So many people want to rush past the awkward years and arrive at a better version of themselves by magic. But growth does not work like that. You do not become thriving just because time passes. You become thriving by learning what actually matters before it is too late. So the story ends where the wish began, with Jenna finally getting what she really wanted all along. Not glamour, not popularity, and not a shortcut to adulthood. She gets a life built on kindness, honesty, and the boy who loved her before she knew how to love herself back.